As people around the world reflect on the October 7th anniversary, the implications of the ongoing conflict continue to ripple through the region and beyond it, many asking, of course, what is next? Kamran Bokhari joins me now. He's the Senior Director of Eurasian Security and Prosperity at the New Lines Institute for Strategy and Policy in Washington. Kamran, appreciate you coming back here on Canada Tonight.
Thanks for having me, Angie.
Your thoughts here. I mean, we're a year now since this horrific attack has happened, but you and I, in the conversations that you and I have had, in looking at sort of the trajectory of this war, but also the implications. And I want to bring, I guess now let's sort of come to where we are now with Iran in the middle of all of this. You and I spoke about what that potential role could have been prior to their strikes. But as you're looking at this from above, from where we were a year ago to where we are today, what are your impressions? And I'm saying concerns as well.
So, Angie, look, what happened on October 7th was unprecedented, and an unprecedented attack like that then obviously triggers a response of the same scale. And then, pretty much everybody has watched blow by blow what has happened over the past 1 year. And I mean, this kind of scenario, more often than not, is prone to escalation, and then escalation, counter-escalation, and we're up that escalatory ladder to the point that we are now waiting for how Israel would retaliate for the recent barrage of missiles that took place. I think it was like last Tuesday, if I recall. And so it may seem like a long journey. But this 1 year, in many ways, has gone by in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, it has. But with that, we know that Benjamin Netanyahu has said that from the start of this war, the goal was to eliminate Hamas. Is that goal the same? Because it seems now we have more players that are coming into this, that this could escalate into something much larger.
So it's already escalated. We frequently hear from U.S. officials that they want to prevent an all-out regional war. I'm one of those who argues we're already in a regional war. It's just everything is relative. It's a matter of degree. And so at some point you have to sort of stop using that vocabulary. But yeah, I mean, look, the issue, the goal of dismantling Hamas's regime and its offensive capabilities, offensive military capabilities, remains. I mean, everybody knows that that mission has not been accomplished. In fact, we don't know when it will be accomplished. In the meantime, there's been a lot of death and destruction that has exacerbated the conflict. And now we have, the northern frontier, which not too long ago, there was this fear and there was this effort by the international community to prevent a northern front from being open. Now the northern front is open, and now we have an eastern front, albeit it's different in nature given the distance between Israel and Iran. But we're now, on at least 3, if not 4 fronts.
So then what about the United States? And you pointed out, they've talked about we want to prevent a full all-out war here. You said we're already hitting that point here. But what about the United States and what its role is? Can they really stop what's happening here? And we're weeks away from an election, which could also have an effect on where things go.
Yeah, I mean, I think that election is probably the key to try and understand why the United States has not been successful in bringing this conflict to a close, or at least a ceasefire. And it has to do with the election. I mean, I think that it's safe to say that whatever conclusion to this phase of the conflict, whenever that happens, it's going to be after the election. It's going to be under a new administration. It's very difficult to, no political actor, whether the incumbent or the one seeking to, get elected to office, is willing to take risky moves. They're risk averse.
Right.
And so that is the defining sort of the driving factor in how they've been pursuing foreign policy. So I think that the elections have definitely complicated any efforts towards trying to bring this conflict to a closure.
Well, that's just weeks away. We see where that effect is going to be as we watch things day by day. Kamran, appreciate as always your time. Kamran Bokhari, Senior Director of Eurasian Security and Prosperity at the New Lines Institute for Strategy and Policy, joining us from Washington.